So welcome everyone to the pre-season race for IOR Season 8. Today we are here at Qatar, the new track in F123. And well, we have 8 drivers racing today. It's of course just a pre-season race, not anything official. So the numbers are not going to be that high. People might not be that committed to driving on just a race for practice, but I'm happy to have these 8 guys racing in here. Will give us a little show today. And well, we'll see who will come in front. We have Wesley, Nick FIFA, Janice Lee, who reserved last season, Lionel on the Aston Martin Legendary Goat, this time on the Alpine, Will, who comes back since IOR Season 6, this time on the AlphaTauri, Theus on the Ferrari, and Black Bala now on the Alpine teaming with Legendary Goat. Some drivers have already set their laps. Wesley has done a 21.7, the quickest time by now. Nick FIFA 22.3 is 6 tenths lower than Wesley Santana on P1. Janice Leith is... Now Theus goes first, fast at 21.0. Really good time there by Theus. Nick FIFA has invalidated his time. I think he's possibly going to dive it in the pit lane. It's going to be a really good race for practice. Legendary Goat is on intermediate tires, of course, doing just a test lap. Theus leads at the moment, followed by Wesley, followed by Nick FIFA, followed by Black Bala, Janice Lee, Lionel, Legendary Goat, and Will, who still hasn't done a lap. Might have invalidated the first run, possibly because everyone has already a lap. He's coming in the pit lane. It's maybe not the easiest track to invalidate, but that sector 2 can be a bit annoying, especially the corners where you almost cut them. There's specifically one that might be maybe not that easy, but also not that hard, like medium to cut or not. So yeah, I think that's the place where most people will invalidate, or also going wide, which will be the other way to invalidate. I think this track is a track where you can invalidate more by going wide than by cutting corners. Everyone in the pit lane right now. Have Theus leading 7 tenths ahead of Wesley Santana. Janice Lee is on an out lap. We'll see what Nick FIFA can do. I know he's possibly hiding more pace than what he's shown at the moment for 22.3. Also see what the split strategies will be on this practice race. Will is now coming on an out lap on the AlphaTauri. Following Will now through the final sector, which is I think the most enjoyable one to drive. He's now gonna come and will start his first or second flying lap, but his first valid flying lap if he managed not to invalidate this time. Coming into the final corner, into the main straight he goes, a long straight before actually starting the lap. Already deploying battery to get the good straight line speed into the end of the straight. Now his lap starts, coming into turn 1, it's gonna brake. I think he goes a bit deep there, down into 4th gear, quickly up into 5th gear, up into 6th gear again, takes the outside curve, not taking any of the inside curve there. Now takes the outside curve up into 6th gear already, quickly. Again, up into 7th gear, he's gonna brake way far than the 50-meter board, down into 6th gear, he's gonna stay in 6th gear. Maybe has to slow down a bit there to not go wide. 27.0 is his first sector. Let's see how his lap will be compared to Theos. Down into 4th gear, this is the place where you can maybe invalidate if you go wider or if you cut the next corner. Making it nicely there, nailing perfectly the corner. You can get a really good exit out of this one. Coming to the end of sector 2, it's gonna be a 54.0, a purple sector 2 4-wheel. And now we come into the more fun sector of the track, the final one in my opinion, but he goes wide and invalidates. Goes wide and invalidates. That's the end of Will's lap. Nick FIFA is coming into sector 2. We'll see how much can he improve. Into the end of sector 2, and he is improving 68 thousandths of a second his previous time. He's not on the best lap for himself. I was expecting a bit more there from Nick FIFA, but of course he still has one more lap to try. Coming into the final corner, down into 4th gear. I think that's a low gear to do that corner. And coming into the main straight, what time is Nick FIFA gonna set? Can he challenge Theos? And, well, he can go, improves 2 temps, but still really far from Theos' lap. Here comes Wesley Santana, who's improving a bit. Theos is currently on a league of his own, following Wesley into the line, and it's gonna be a 21.5, 5 temps lower than Theos. Then there goes 4 faster, 22.2. So I think it's all quite close if we exclude Theos, of course, who is now dominating this qualifying session and is already going to do another lap. 21.0 is the best time set at the session at the moment. Will in the pit lane will have one shot there to go for a final flying lap, and that's going to be his final chance. QLUNL is currently, I think, finishing a lap. No, I think he isn't. He is possibly on an in lap right now. Yeah, definitely on an in lap. Theos leading the pack and coming into the final corner to start what's gonna be his possibly last flying lap on this session. I think yes. Coming into the main straight, how much can he improve his previous time? Down into 5th gear for turn 1. Takes a lot of curb there. Down into 5th gear quickly and into the exit. Quickly up into 6th gear, taking the inside curb there as well. Up into 7th already. He's gonna brake as well. Very far from the 50-meter board. It gets really good traction, really good exit all of those corners. Doesn't have to slow much a lot, and 3 temps quicker adjusting sector 1. He's gonna completely smash his previous time. Really nice exit and far from invalidating there. Oh, now he's gonna go wide, and yeah, now this time he is gonna invalidate. Black Bala is currently on a lap, but he slows down. I think he's aboard to the lap. Will is now on an out lap, and let's see how quick can he go. Can he try and challenge for P2 at least? He's still at the beginning of his out lap. Most people on the pit lane. Oh, and that's Janice Lee in the wall. That's gonna not allow him to do his final run. Actually, he has time. I think he has time to switch the wing and try to do one more lap. But that's definitely gonna cost him a bit. At least he's gonna be a bit under pressure there for his final run. Most people in the pit lane right now, except Will, who's about to start another flying lap. And coming into the main straight goes Will, and now starts his final flying lap. Into turn 1 he goes. This time once again down to 4th gear. Going quickly up on gears there, 6th gear down to 4th gear for the next one. I think he could take those corners on 5th gear, not on 4th gear, but well, it's his riding style, so we'll see how it results in the end of the lap. Seems to be fighting a bit understeering into this part of the track. He's done a 26.8. I think not close at all to Theus, but we'll see how the rest of the lap goes for him. Down into 4th gear. Getting a nice exit. Really good traction though out of those corners. Down to 4th gear and getting a nice exit once again. What's gonna be his time through sector 2? It's gonna be a 53.9, gets a purple sector 2. So we'll see how the final one goes. He has no traffic ahead of him, he has clear track, but he's gonna go a bit wide, has to correct a bit there. That's gonna cost him some tenths, possibly. Down to 4th gear, seems like a very understeery setup Will is using now. And now comes into a line, and it's gonna be a 21.8, goes ahead of Nick FIFA by 2 tenths. Still really far from the lead of Theus. Nick FIFA in the pit lane still. Well, he's coming out now. I think he does have the enough time to do a lap. Yes, he does. Theus and Wesley on an out lap as well. Actually, Theus did have time. Well, he melted the previous one. I think he's gone into the pit lane then, and we'll have time for another lap. So the pre-season going really well for these guys. We now know approximately what the pace will be between the guys in here, but of course there's nothing set yet. There's still 2 weeks for the start of the real action in Bahrain, but at the moment it's Theus on the Ferrari who's dominating, but of course we don't have drivers like Thales, like Cucumber on the grid, so who dominated the last season, so still gotta see what goes on here. 40 seconds to end qualifying. Theus dominates, followed by Wesley Santana, followed by Will, followed by Nick FIFA, followed by Legendary Goat, followed by Black Bala, followed by Jenny Lee, and followed finally by Lionel with a 23.1. He's not that far from Jenny Lee's time, but it's really far from the rest of the grid though. Meanwhile, Theus will be looking to improve even more that time. How quick can he go? Following Theus into the start of his final flying lap, and let's go with the man that's dominating this session at the moment. And well, is definitely looking to challenge Cucumber and Thales into the next season. Will and Nick FIFA didn't make it to a line. Really unfortunate by these two. Wesley is finishing his flying lap. We're gonna follow Theus after we go with Wesley, who is gonna complete his final run. Into the main straight he goes. And it's gonna be for Wesley a 21.5, just improves 20 thousandths of a second. That's not a big improvement at all. Basically match his previous time. Here comes Black Bala in the line, and he's gonna go 5th fastest. Goes ahead of his teammate Legendary Goat. And Theus has messed up his time, so nothing is gonna change here. Let's see what can Lionel do about it here. Coming into the final sector of Qatar. And yeah, he's not going fast. I think he's not even getting good acceleration on gears here. We're coming into the final straight, and I think this is not going to be a good time. Let's see if he can improve at least what he did previously. No, he couldn't. And that's the end of qualifying. So it's Theus quickest on qualifying by far, 5 tenths quicker than Wesley. On the pre-season testing, Theus goes quickest by 5 tenths than Wesley, 8 tenths quicker than Will, 1 second quicker than Nick FIFA, but once again this is not definite results. There are still 2 weeks for the season to start, for the real season to start, so... But by now it's massive domination by Theus in this first race. We can see we have people from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different teams on the grid, so 4 teams have not made an appearance on this pre-season testing. We've got some comments in the commentary box. We'll quickly go and read that before starting. We have no formation lab, by the way, so we will just go straight into the action. We'll see what the comments I've got in the YouTube stream are. So Theo says, I did 2 mistakes again, I'm nervous. So, well, if he did mistakes, then, well, I think we saw it because he invalidated his second and third run where he was improving, I remember, 3 temps, so he has even more pace than what he showed, and well, his pace already a lot, 5 temps quicker than everyone else. And we are gonna get going with this pre-season race testing now, and lights out and away we go. Who's got the best start in here, I have to ask. Sales is on the hards, Wesley on the medium, Sales goes quickly defensive down the inside. I think Wesley is gonna take the lead of the race. No, actually, Nick FIFA on softs gets the move done and goes second in the grid. Going a bit wide, there goes Legendary Goat. Some positions being changed there. Theos leads. Oh, and that's an Alpine in the wall. That's Legendary Goat off. And I'm not sure if I think he does have damage. We'll get with the telemetry and all that stuff enabled. And now Nick FIFA's taking the lead of the race, and Theos is off. Theos is off on the hard tires, and Nick FIFA now leads the race on the softs. That are the tire strategies. Of course, remember, it's just testing, so nothing, just for you to try to get used to this game, try to get used to the other racers on the grid. We're not really fighting for anything here, so yeah, the thing here is just test as much as you can before the start of the season. Nick FIFA leads 5 tenths ahead of Wesley Santana. He's quickly building the gap. He didn't show the real pace on qualifying. Now in the race, he's showing really good pace, and that's an Alpha off. That's Jenny's Lee in the wall. And that's Theos off as well. That's a BSC. That's a Berthold safety car. And, well, definitely Jenny's and Theos are going to be stopping in here. Wonder if Legendary Goat is actually gonna have to stop as well. And no, actually he has no damage. He has no damage, he stays out. Nick FIFA leads the race, 7 tenths ahead of Wesley Santana, followed by Will in third. Then comes Black Balla, then comes Kill UNL, then comes, well, Legendary Goat now with Janice Lee and Theos stopping. Theos really good qualifying in the race. It has gone into a nightmare, into just the first lap of it, but once again, as I said, it's just testing. Nothing to really take seriously here. Kill UNL's got a drive-through penalty. Nick FIFA's got a really good restart, already pulling away 1.4 seconds ahead of Wesley Santana. Also have to remember, Nick FIFA won the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi in Season 7. Now is dominating the race in Season 8 by now. Just 2 laps, already pulled 1.7 ahead of Wesley and Will. The thing is, how much are those tires gonna last? Well, with good pace at the front, we'll have to see. Will is attacking now Wesley for second place of the race. DRS will be enabled really soon. Jennifer Lee on hard Theos, really far behind from Legendary Goat. Kill UNL on P6, having served that drive-through, is gonna come behind. We'll see if he comes behind Theos or in front of him. DRS is gonna be enabled now. Nick FIFA sets, of course, the fastest lap of the race. Will is already attacking Wesley for P2 of the race. Both with similar rear rest conditions. Nick FIFA's also with similar rear rest conditions, but with better tires. Lionel in the pit lane, serving the drive-through penalty, but it's actually stopped. It's actually stopped, but I think the penalty is being served. Actually, that might be a bit lucky from him there, if he can actually serve the drive-through and the change his wing at the same time. Oh, we'll see if the penalty is actually being removed. That's though gonna allow Theos through and possibly Janice Lee through as well. We'll see if Lionel still has the drive-through to serve or not. Lionel is gonna come just ahead of, and yeah, he still has to serve the drive-through, so the game changed his wing. Meanwhile, the battle keeps going on, and that's Wesley off. Wesley spins on his own. That's cost him 2 places and definitely cost him a lot of time. He's down to 4th, and that's promoted. Will into 2nd of the race. Is now gonna be attacked by Black Bala on softs. We're gonna come now into the main straight. Can Black Bala go and attack Will on the better tires at the moment? He's at least gonna get closer with the DRS. Black Bala showing really good pace, but have to remember the DRS is really powerful in this game. Much more than it was in F1 22. Black Bala now setting the fastest lap, and look how close he's got to Will without even deploying ERS. And yeah, I think he's gonna get the move done possibly into next lap. Meanwhile, Nick FIFA keeps building the gap against Will. Theos got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He is, I think, closing the gap possibly on Legendary Goat. Meanwhile, Janice Lee attacking Lionel, but Lionel is gonna stay out one more lap before serving the drive-through. Meanwhile, Will is matching Nick FIFA's timing here at the moment. He's not losing that much compared to him right now. We'll see when the drop-off from the Red Bull starts. Meanwhile, Black Bala right at the back of Will will be looking to attack that AlphaTauri. Someone spun, I think that's Legendary Goat. That's gonna allow Tails to close up quickly into him, coming into the the fast corners, the final sector of the track. Can Black Bala get enough close to Will this time to go for the move into turn 1? I think he should have a go on him this time. Maybe, maybe not. He is not gonna try and overtake Will. Will he try to defend or not? Black Bala getting really close, but Will not deploying ERS. Black Bala also stops deploying ERS, but he's now gonna try and move by the outside. Made a bit of contact there, and I think that's the marker board off. I think that was a little bit of a misunderstanding by both drivers in here. Hopefully Black Bala does not have damage. Due to the new damage system, I think he possibly doesn't have damage. And we'll see how this battle continues, carries on into the next laps. Meanwhile, Nick FIFA building the gap, but not a big gap, I have to say. It's just 3.2, but I think he's in better rear rest conditions. Not that better rear rest conditions as well. Theos quickly following Legendary Goat for that P5 of the race. Even though he has the penalty, he has the better pace. Meanwhile, Black Bala chasing Will into Sector 2. We'll see if this time, next lap, he's gonna go for the move on him or not. If it actually there's a point in making the move or not, because Will possibly could fight it back into a next lap, but at least he can try and give him a little challenge here to the AlphaTauri driver. I wonder when will the drop off on Nick FIFA's tire start, and also the drop off on Black Bala's tire start. Now Black Bala's got much closer on the exit, but I think he doesn't get a really good exit this time. He is gonna try and attack Will. He is deploying all of the CRS. Is he gonna go for it this time? Yes, he's gonna go for it this time. Into turn 1, there you go. Will tries to hold it by the outside. Black Bala defends, no, Will defends it from Black Bala there. Black Bala had to deploy some of his CRS. Will didn't have to deploy too much of his CRS, but now the gap is much closer. Black Bala trying to attack Will. They really stick to each other there. The battle between these two will carry on, I think, for a bit more, at least a bit more, till the drop off on Black Bala's tires starts to show up. Another really good exit on that corner from Black Bala. This allowing Nick FIFA to build a bit more of a gap here. Nick FIFA, we can say, feeling maybe a bit comfortable at the moment, but maybe not that much comfortable because of he's on the soft, so cars will go off in no time. Will Black Bala have another go against Will in this coming lap? We'll have to see. I think he's not as close as in the previous laps. It will depend. How good will the exit of the final corner be for Black Bala? I think it wasn't a good one, and Will spins. Will spins. Will make some mistake there in the final corner, and that's gonna cost him time. Will now was looking really solid, but now he might even get attacked by Wesley in here. Yeah, he's gonna get overtaken by Wesley. He's got no momentum out of that corner. Wesley goes quickly up into third. Of course, there's still a long way to go, and Will stars. I think Will has definitely more pace than Black Bala, but well, the gap is now 8 seconds. He's now half Wesley in front of him. I think the pace between Wesley and Will possibly mostly the same. So we gotta see how this carries on. Meanwhile, Nick FIFA is 4.8 seconds ahead of Black Bala, so he's now feeling really comfortable. Sales, meanwhile, 21 seconds behind Will, and now gets a another 3-second time penalty. Doesn't seem to feel really comfortable in the car. And quality was looking really good, but on the race now, well, he seems to have a lot of struggles controlling that car. Nick FIFA now building the gap. Now the battle is between Will and Wesley for P3 of this race. Will's gonna bit wide there. He's gonna come into the final corner, and is he gonna have a go? Remember, Black Bala got really close to him, getting an exit with 7/10 behind. Will is now almost 7/10 behind, but so can he get a good run into turn 1? But he's not trying to attack. He's just trying to get a bit closer with the DRS, and possibly will try to move into next lap. That was misjudging there by Will on the braking. Unfortunate, and I think it can happen, and I can think that it's because maybe of the what, 50-100, I don't know what, but a meterboard on there being removed in the battle between Black Bala and Will, so that might have caused the misjudgment. I think that marker board might have been taken off. I'm not too sure, but I think that's a big possibility. And now wheel starts are not good. And yeah, I think, as I said before, that can possibly be related to the marker board. I'm not 100% sure it got removed, but I think it might have been removed. Will now needs to get back into action, and oh, he's going really off there. Still doesn't really feel comfortable on those tires right now. He's going really wide. Does he have damage? Not any visible damage, but well, he's cutting everything. Well, yeah, definitely frustration there by Will. Diving it into the pit lane. And Will now possibly gonna have to replace the wing. Well, once again, just testing. Nothing really serious here. He's retired. Well, he's retired from the race. I think he could have carried on, but we'll see. Nick FIFA leading now, followed by Black Bala, Wesley, who is 8 seconds behind Black Bala. Black Bala 6 seconds behind Nick FIFA. And well, the testing has not gone the right way for many people, but I can say it's, once again, it's testing, so they'll learn from their mistakes, and we'll be well prepared for the start of the season in 2 weeks. Well, 20 laps to go, and meanwhile not many action to see on track. Legendary Goat is actually closing the gap, I think, on Yenny's lead. Or might he actually have just lost a place against him? No, he's actually closing the gap. Nick FIFA now picks up a penalty. This is not good in case of a safety car, because Wesley is now the only driver with no penalties on track. Wonder when Nick FIFA is thinking about stopping. If he stops, it's gonna be clear. He's gonna have no traffic. It's gonna be like 7 seconds behind Wesley, I think. Theos is really far behind. I want to see what is the pace compared between Theos and Nick FIFA. We have now 34 seconds. Of course, they are on different tires. We'll see how the pace carries on. So now currently Nick FIFA increases a bit the gap. 34.0 by now. 34.1 at the moment, looking similar pace between Nick FIFA and Theos. But Theos should be getting better pace soon due to the softs degrading. He's now 33.9, so, but once again 34.0. So actually can see the pace from Nick FIFA is looking really solid. That's all what I can say. Even on degraded tires, he's found his way to get good pace on those old softs. Now Theos closing a bit the gap. We'll see what the gap between these two is at the end of the race. 33.8. And I think Theos is closed up around 4 tenths on this final lap. But now the gap increases on the straight. I think Nick FIFA possibly has a lot of less downforce. And the gap is quickly once again back to 34.2. Actually it's increased. So in the straights, Nick FIFA's winning time against Theos. We'll see if Nick FIFA is actually deploying ERS. He is deploying a lot of ERS. Theos is not deploying ERS. So that's also part of the reason why the gap has increased there. So as no battle scene on track right now, we're just trying to match some pace, see who is quicker on this grid. Lane there goes picking up another penalty, and Nick FIFA's now in the pit lane. Nick FIFA now in the pit lane. Those softs I think were done by this point. Wonder how much the degradation was. Dives in the pit lane, is gonna go for mediums probably to go to the end of the race. No, actually I think he's going for hards. And Nick FIFA's gone hards there. And he's gonna come out, I think, behind Wesley, as I said, but not that far as I thought. He's gonna come out. Let's see how far behind from Wesley. He's come out 6 seconds. I said 7 seconds, at the end it was 6. So a good timing there by Nick FIFA. Is gonna have clean air for a couple of laps. Then he's just gonna have to make the move on Wesley. And like he did in Abu Dhabi, Nick FIFA dominating this race. We have to see how the pace is compared between him and Theos. Because Theos was way quicker in qualifying. But now in the race, Nick FIFA seems to be matching Theos' pace. And there's an Alpine stopped on track. That is Legendary Goats. Struggling now a lot. He's gonna dive in the pit lane. Wesley 7.5 behind Black Bala. We'll see if he can close up the gap on the medium tires. Black Bala on the softs is now coming in. What tire is he gonna be on? Nick FIFA just in the outlap has subtracted almost a whole second to Wesley. Yeah, a whole second to Wesley on the outlap. I think Theos is gonna go long on those medium tires, probably, and then he's gonna make one more stop. I really don't think those mediums are making it to the end of the race. Black Bala is gonna come out behind Theos. He's gonna be on the mediums. He's gonna be around 6 seconds behind Theos when he comes out. And we'll see if actually Black Bala has the pace to catch Theos. Well, 7 seconds, 8 seconds almost. Theos quickly losing time to Nick FIFA on the fresh hard tires. Nick FIFA is now flying on track, saved a lot of ERS, just taking his time there, and I think it's the driver that's making the best use of this practice. Following Nick FIFA through a lap, coming into the end of sector 3, up into 7th gear, down into 4th gear for the final corner. He's not taking that one on 5th, and I think it's pretty reasonable. He's on hard tires. And into the main straight, it's already just 2.4 seconds behind Wesley. He pulled away almost, I think, a second ahead of Theos in just one lap. Theos is in the pit lane. Those mediums were done really quick. They lasted much less than Wesley's medium tires. He's switching to hards and he's going to the end of the race. Now we can have a better comparison between Nick FIFA and Theos' pace now that both will be on hards. Meanwhile, Nick FIFA is closing really quickly to Wesley and should get ahead of him by the main straight, or possibly Wesley is gonna pit, maybe to try and cover a Theos undercut, but I think Theos' undercut is not something likely, right? He was really far behind. But I think Theos possibly has better pace than Wesley, so maybe should try and cover it, just in case for the end of the race. That's a spinner, Legendary Goat again. Legendary Goat making a lot of mistakes today. And well, that's Nick FIFA. I think he catch up like 7 seconds in 2 laps to Wesley. And good thing for him is that the timing he catch him was perfect, that Wesley's not gonna dive it into the pit lane, he's gonna get DRS and he's not gonna lose any time. He's not gonna lose absolutely any time. That timing from Nick FIFA was perfect. Of course we can't say it was calculated, but it was really lucky for him there. Now DRS and he's gonna pull away in the main straight. As he said, who has the fastest lap on this race? Let's see, it's Theos who has the fastest lap on this race. Nick FIFA is 3 times slower than Theos. We'll see if Theos can get fastest lap on the hards. Looking at the interval between the drivers now, Wesley on the pit lane, he's gonna be not way ahead of Theos. Have an eye on this. Theos can catch into the end of this race, but of course Wesley has the advantage of having no penalty. He has no penalty on this race. And Black Bala's lost so much time to Nick FIFA. Not sure what happened to him there, but the gap has increased massively. And Wesley is letting their Goat retired in the pit lane. Wesley is not that far from Black Bala, and with the penalties, he should possibly be taking that place against him at the end of the race. Nick FIFA is mostly clear, has nothing to worry about. It's gonna be a demolishing win by Nick FIFA if he doesn't make a mistake or something. What's the gap compared between him and Theos? I have to ask. It's 35 seconds. It's grown a second from what it was before the pit stops. Killian Elves picked the 3-second time penalty. He's 53 seconds behind the leader. Still far from getting lap, and Theos has picked a 3-second time penalty. We'll see once again how the pace is compared to Nick FIFA, but we'll go into that later, I think, or we can keep the gap just in the leader. Interval, Wesley holding the pace with Black Bala on the hard tire pace compared to him. Well, we'll see, but he's gonna be closing up with the laps because of the drop off of Black Balla's medium tires. Q Lionel's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's gonna test fresh medium tires. I'll say it once again, it's testing, so try and test as much things as you can. Try to test drop off on tires, try to test how you feel with the tires itself, how you feel with the setups itself, how is your pace compared to other drivers, who you think you'll be fighting against this season, and all that stuff. Nick FIFA is 19 seconds ahead of Black Balla. Wesley starts closing a bit the gap. Nick FIFA picked another penalty. Well, this is not looking good in terms of penalty, but once again he has nothing to lose. He's safe at the front of the race. He has 6 seconds, Theos has 9 seconds of penalties. Black Balla now closes up a bit on Nick FIFA. Black Balla also showing a good pace. Theos now sets the fastest lap of the race. What's the gap between him and Nick FIFA? It's 34.4. He's closed up 6 times in that final lap. And now we can see Zeus is looking faster on pace, at the moment at least. How much ERS does he have? He has a lot of ERS. We'll see how they end up after the race finishes. And well, we'll see. Of course, we're not gonna have possibly any action on track. Do you have any commentaries on the YouTube? I think we don't. Black Balla closing on Nick FIFA. Nick FIFA's pace has gone a bit lower in this last 2 laps, so might be, I don't know if saving or what, or he's simply not trying to push. I think that could well be the explanation. He has really nothing to lose. The one that's definitely gonna be pushing is gonna be Wesley, who will be looking to chase after Black Balla. What's the gap between these two? 5.5. Yeah, I think he will be there by the end of the race, probably. Theos also, is he closing the gap to Wesley or not? I think not. I've seen the gap 9.7 in the last laps. We'll see if he can get a bit closer to that now. Wesley now is almost gonna be 5 behind Black Balla. Actually the gap a bit increasing a bit, so maybe it's because of fresher tires that Wesley has, but it's really good to see he's matching or even being quicker than Theos. How much is Wesley pushing though? I think not that much, but is he running out of fuel? No, that's not fuel, that's something else, but I don't know what that red light means exactly. I'm not too sure about it. But he is now almost 4 behind Black Balla. 4.9. He is matching Theos' time. Theos is now losing a bit of time to Wesley, but the pace between these two is almost the same. Meanwhile, I think Nick FIFA is on the same amount of ERS. Not sure how much is he deploying or not. I'm gonna go on board with him for a lap. Theos has picked another penalty, so that's gonna be 12 for Theos' total time. He's now lost another 10th, 2 temps to Wesley. Has come into the pit lane, and not sure why, because of course he is on new hards. He's retired. Why is he retired? To be honest, I don't see a point. Just because he got that much penalties. It's just testing. So he could have carried on and compared his pace to the rest of the field, but now we won't precisely know. But the last we saw is that Wesley was going a bit quicker than him. And now he is 4.5 behind Black Bala. Nick FIFA keeps saving ERS. Not even trying to push, he's matching Black Bala's time. Actually, Black Bala's going a bit quicker than Theos. We got another comment, we'll see if it's from Theos. We have 10 more laps to go on this pre-season. Let's try and read the commenters. We still have 5 drivers on this race. Or, well, if we can call it a race, it's just testing, really. Theo says, I don't had fuel to finish the race. How? So, well, I'm gonna explain that, and I actually think Qatar is a track that uses a lot of fuel, so possibly we should be looking into that. You should have put, like, possibly +1 more than what you put, and yeah, it's the good thing about testing, so you can know all that data. Qatar is one of the tracks that uses more fuel, I think, in all the calendars, so I also did a test race in GP mode, and when I was like 10 laps to go, I saw that I had like 1 lap of fuel less, so Theo says I put +1.5, but yeah, that might even not be enough, bro, so that's how much fuel it consumes, Qatar, so probably you should have put like 2.5 or maybe 2, but yeah, it's a track that really uses a lot of fuel, so yeah, that's the thing with Qatar. But at the end, it's good that you know that soon, because that's what testing is for. So yeah, now you know that, and you know what to do next time you have a league race around here. So Nick FIFA leading this race comfortably. He's lost a whole second to Black Bala though. He's not pushing at all. I think he's just trying to take that car to the line. Meanwhile, Wesley is Theo says that the game is very different, and yeah, that's true, but I think in a positive way. Like, you have more traction, more grip. As in the car, you can actually have force feedback. But the strategies are also really different from last one. Split strategies will be more often. The drop-off is much more of a thing than in last game here. And yeah, of course the fuel as well. So yeah, fuel will be different in some tracks than on previous game. I actually wonder if Nick FIFA is having fuel issues as well. The amount of pace he's losing is big compared to Black Bala. He's already lost another second, so I'm not sure what is causing this drop on pace. We can actually have race director. Let's see. Nick FIFA view lap times. So in the last laps, he's done a 27.1 in the lap 22, 26.8 in lap 21, and before that he's done a 26.3. So 2 laps ago he's lost more than 5 temps compared to the previous laps. Then also in lap 19 he did a 26.1. So he's consistently been losing pace since he stopped. You can see before that, since he went on the hards, his laps were 25.0. Next lap was a 25.1, which was 1 tenth slower. Then he did his best, personal best, to 24.9. Then went back to a 25.5. That was 6 tenths lower than his best. Then 1 tenth lower in next lap. Then 4 tenths lower in the next one. 2 tenths lower, 1 tenth lower than the previous one in next one. Then 26.3, 26.8, 27.1, and then last one 27.0. So he's not had a really good last laps, but I once again not sure what the reason will be. I don't think the hards will drop off that quickly, because if not, Wesley would also be will be slowing down. Let's see how Wesley's times have been. So since he went on the hards, his personal best has been the 25.0, then he's gone 25.2, 25.4, 25.8, 25, 26.2. No, actually the drop-off has been a thing on Wesley as well. So actually hards are dropping that much. So then the surprising thing is how Black Bala is gaining time on Nick FIFA. How is that possible? Maybe because the mediums are working still better than the hards, even though of the drop-off. Maybe the mediums don't have much more drop-off compared to the hards. Well, a lot of interesting questions to ask at this point. I wonder what's actually going on. If they had fuel issues, I think a red light would appear on the fuel icon, but he doesn't seem to have that. What's the lap gonna be now? It's gonna be a 27.0. What's Black Bala's time gonna be? (26.2). That's almost a second. That's 8 times quicker than Nick FIFA. That's a massive gap on pace, even though Black Bala's 12-lap old mediums, Nick FIFA's 13-lap old hards. And I think the drop-off on the mediums should be really high at this point. But well, I wonder what it was actually what's causing it. And how much penalties does Black Bala have? 6 seconds, so that means he's gonna be losing the place to Wesley anyway. I have to say, really good stint on Black Bala though, or well, not sure what's causing the slow on Nick FIFA there. Let's check Black Bala's times. Since he weren't on mediums, his best was 25.2, then 25.7, 25.2, 25.3, 25.8, 26.1, 26.1, 26.0, 26.2, 26.6, 26.0, 26.2. Really consistent times there. In case of Wesley, on the hard, I think he's also been on the 26, 26.2, 26.2, 26.5, and for some reason Nick FIFA has gone to the 27s. Last lap was a 26.6. We'll see if he can go back to the 26 or not. Wesley's gap with the leader is a 19.5. It's actually closed up a lot. Same as Black Bala. So something's been going on with Nick FIFA. I'm not sure if he's been saving fuel, if he's just being conservative, or I don't know. Wesley now 4.8 seconds behind Black Bala. Black Bala's showing a really good pace in those mediums. Still till now, I gotta say that's a really good stint there by Black Bala. If he can do a 26 again, I think soft medium is possibly the best strategy for this track then. But by what we have seen, Black Bala stars never really dropped off. What is the time gonna be into a line? This is gonna be close to 26. Once again, 26.2. He stayed on the 26 through all that stint. That means mediums are really good on this track. 2 more laps to go to end the pre-season testing. Nick FIFA dominating the race, 14 seconds ahead of Black Bala. Penalties will not affect him at all, because Wesley is too far behind. Wesley though is gonna close up in the final result between Nick FIFA and Black Bala. Meanwhile, Lionel, how many stops has he done? 2 stops. I thought he had done more. But he's done good testing as well. He can now get used to the pace. His 11 lap old medium tires. He has the fresher tires on the grid at the moment. And good for these 4 drivers that have finished the race. They'll have now much more knowledge of the game than the others. Of course, everyone else can practice by themselves after, but of course practicing with the grid is always something good to do. Final lap of the race, Nick FIFA is gonna come home to take a comfortable win on the pre-season testing. He won in Abu Dhabi last season, the final race of the season, dominating by far. This time on the pre-season he's gonna be dominating as well. Maybe not an official race, but shows how solid this man is and how good he is. Looking forward into the start of the new IOR season. We'll be looking there to challenge Cucumber and Thales for the title. Title fight this season will be really interesting. Now he's gone wide there in that corner. I think he was really conservative. Now he's struggling with fuel, so that was the reason why he was going so slow. But it didn't show up before. I think it just will show up in the final lap. He is running out of fuel. Will he make it to a line though? Can actually Black Bala win this race? I think at this stage possibly it's not what's gonna happen. I think he managed to save that fuel really well. That's why he was struggling so much. He possibly had the same issue as Zeus. Comes into a final corner into the main straight with fuel issues and all that, but here goes Nick FIFA weaving in the main straight. Really happy and wins the preseason testing at Qatar. Nick FIFA wins once again, demonstrating how solid he is coming into the start of the new season. Black Bala will come home in third because Wesley, due to penalties, is gonna finish in second place. And finally Lionel will be the last finisher in this testing on P4. Oh, and Lionel has run out of fuel. He's going very slow to the final sector. Well, and those are your results from the pre-season testing. Nick FIFA looking really solid to challenge for the championship, and I'm not saying this just having a bit of fun. I actually think Nick FIFA is looking really good to go and challenge Cucumber and Thales on this game for the title. So we'll see how the round 1 in Bahrain goes. But I think we can have a 3-way or even 4-way title fight in the drivers, in the constructors. We might have 4 teams challenging for the title or even more. We'll gotta see. But it's gonna be a really interesting championship to watch and a really competitive one as well. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Bye.